We're at the National Museum of Cambodia in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. I'm Wesley Green, and this is Untethered Travel Live Streams, where we live stream travel, period.
Just what it says on the tin.
That's what it says on the tin, exactly.
I'm Scott B. Smith. I hang around these live streams.
Sorry, I meant to say I'm Wesley Green at the end. That way you can add yours in. I'm trying to get more explanation there in that opening of what's going on, because I find people are not getting it. We don't have a lot of viewers yet, but I directed a friend to one of our episodes the other. There's a lot of flies around here. One of our episodes the other day, he responded to. He obviously didn't watch the whole thing because it only took a few minutes, and our streams are kind of long. But he responded just a few minutes later and said, "Oh, so you were being interviewed for a podcast?" And I was like, "That's not quite what was happening, so it's not coming across." But thank you for letting me know that.
Oh,
so more explanation, at least in the opening. So when people first look at it, they know what they're looking at.
Also, the algorithm. The algorithm.
Yeah, it's the algorithm. I don't know what that means, but yes. Now I'm not sure which direction we should go. Are you ready to see this museum?
Yeah, we're at the National Museum of Cambodia.
We are.
Did we say that already?
I did. Yeah, I said it, but it bears repeating.
All right. Yeah, let's see it. It's why we're here. That was my Obi-Wan Kenobi impression.
Well, it was great. It was a good time.
Thanks. I think it's pretty good.
All right. Now I'm going to see if I can find something that guides us through this museum.
Oh. Wesley, did you know that this museum was first built in 1920?
That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, it's not an ancient build. Was it built as part of an ancient, like a renovation of an ancient building?
I don't think so. It's
no.
Oh.
It was. You were right the first time. It was built in 1920.
Why'd you ask me if you already knew the answer?
I was just trying to help you, be the center of knowledge.
No, that's not me. Oh, there's just some feet.
Oh, yeah, it is just feet.
There you go. Yes, it was apparently built, or construction was completed in 1920, and it was heavily renovated in 1968. It was built during the French colonization of Cambodia, so it was built kind of at the urging of a French person named Georges Grosley, who was a historian, curator, and author, who's very interested in traditional Khmer art and history. They built it in the style of traditional Khmer temples that they had seen in art, but it is not an exact replica or anything. They had to change the proportions to make it a museum, and obviously they were, French people, and so they weren't. And by that I mean they were not, part of the culture that had initially created it. So
right, they were looking at another culture.
Yeah, a little variation there. So, and it was heavily renovated in 1968. So,
right, yeah. Okay.
Look at there. That
person is one of the more famous people.
Walking like an Egyptian.
Well, it looks like, I'm guessing, let's see, reclining Vishnu. Yeah, multiple arms. I was guessing reclining Vishnu.
Even Vishnu got to take a rest sometimes, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. Prasad, Western Mebon, Angkor. So this was found in Siem Reap, the super famous site.
Oh.
Trying to see if this other thing back here.
I also have read that just like so many
Oh,
things,
cool.
um,
Go ahead.
oh no, what is that?
Okay, so yeah, I'm thinking you've not been to the British Museum, right?
No.
Okay. So at the British Museum, there's a exhibit, and I swear to God, it looks so much like this, like the way the stone is crumbling or whatever. I think Russ has been, and maybe he's seen it. I can switch to comments, don't
I'm sure
I?
Russ has been. I'm positive.
Um, oh, he's not here yet, is he?
I don't see him, but
Yeah, I
maybe he'll
haven't
be
seen
here
him.
soon.
Yeah, I hope so. He's gonna like this one.
Hmm.
Yep. Anyway, so the Rosetta Stone is at the British Museum. It looks so much like this. And
Huh.
of course, you know the Rosetta Stone is the ancient tablet that translated Egyptian and Greek and Latin. I'm thinking those three languages are correct, all into each other so that they could be, ancient Egyptian could be read,
Hmm.
right? Well, this, it says, is the first, um, uh, so far as it's been found, the first thing that it's like the mathematical equivalent. The first thing that represents zero. It's the first zero. This concept of zero in math took actually a long time to come along. I've had friends say, "Well, that can't be because if there's nothing there." It's like, no, we're talking about a mathematical representation that you can work with in arithmetic. That took a long time. And when I say a long time, I mean in ancient times. Like numbers were around for a long time, but there's no zero.
Yeah, it had to have been something like when we first learn about imaginary numbers in high
Right.
school or whatever, and people it just blew people's mind like, whoa, we're we're able to represent nothing
Right. Exactly. Mathematically represent nothing, and
mathematically,
then
right?
actually work with it and do something with it. That's important.
Charlie says it looks like the angel tablets from Supernatural. Well,
I don't know about that.
it certainly was an angel for mathematicians everywhere.
Okay.
So,
Not a lot of exhibits in this room.
oh,
Yes, and actually, as I learn tiny, tiny amounts of each language in the countries that I'm going to, I can tell you it's really interesting to see countries that, or languages, I should say, that represent zero, and zero just stands out as different from all the rest because it's different, and it came
hmm,
along later. So, like in Chinese, the low numbers, one, two, three, they are extremely simple characters. I mean, they're
hmm,
one, two, and three are just lines. One, two, and three lines. And
that
then
makes sense.
In Khmer, they've got a whole numerical system that's separate. Like where the numerals are different than not words for the numerals, because of course that is different in the language. But they don't use. I shouldn't say they don't use them, but the Khmer language has its own set of numerals, just like Roman numerals.
Hmm.
Except there's no zero, or I should say the zero is just the Arabic version of zero. So you find over and over again that zero stands out because in ancient times they didn't have a concept of it, so it has to have been added in modern times, or not modern, but later.
Hmm.
Anyway, I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Let's see if we've got something to
What do
explain
they
this.
What do they say?
What are they saying in these
Yeah.
tablets?
Yeah.
Mukhalinga with inscription.
Does it tell us where the Ark of the Covenant's buried?
No, it doesn't say that. We've
Oh.
got more explanation. Oh, okay. So we've got a thing here. Bas relief with fire ritual. Bion temple. A Bion is one of the big temples up at Angkor Wat.
Whoa, the fire ritual sounds awesome. I don't know what that is, but it sounds cool.
Well, uh, maybe it is. They're
But
not doing one right now.
see, I haven't watched very much Supernatural, Erica and Charlie, but the fire ritual sounds like something that would totally be in the show Supernatural. somehow, or something called a fire ritual, right? Oh,
Would
look
there
at that.
actually be fire?
Yeah, I'm assuming. No, like the statue on the left, like that headdress looks like Egyptian pharaohs.
It does look Egyptian, doesn't it?
Oh, it's very similar. Wow, what crazy serendipity. I mean, you got to figure they probably didn't have contact with each other, cultural contact. It's got to just be,
I'm gonna guess not.
yeah. I
That
mean, it's just got to be a weird coincidence.
yeah.
Wow. That person was just like, what's the simplest hat you can make me? I don't want like horns or nothing on it. Just, little a tall hat though. Tall. I mean, I'm important. I would like a tall hat, please, so people know I'm important.
This one is Buddha in Parinirvana.
Oh,
I always assumed that was just reclining Buddha. I don't know if there's a difference or
well, I wonder what paranirvana is. Like, is it like a portion or like a part of nirvana, or is it a different state, or
I mean, I would think it would be just.
another dimension?
I was thinking more like you're right at the edge of Nirvana.
Oh, like a suburb.
But yeah, that's right.
Look at there.
Just outside of Nirvana.
I'm glad everybody in these statues are wearing pants, though.
Mm-hmm.
We could be seeing a lot of junk here, but we're not.
No. Put the pants on them.
Yeah.
I imagine they did wear pants.
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of mosquitoes down there. You want to keep those areas covered up.
Yeah, yep, that's true.
What's that? Pig?
This was when it had a head, the torso of okay, well, it's not. It's just now the torso of the bull Nandin.
Oh,
I think that's a Hindu thing.
Oh, okay. And that is probably Ganesh.
Yes.
Unless there's a different Ganesh. Yeah, unless there's a different elephant-headed humanoid deity that I'm not aware of. That's Ganesh.
Yeah.
Ganesh seems like a cool deity. I don't know a lot about him, but just my impression, he's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty cool one. You do see him a lot.
Yeah, I think
obviously they thought he was cool too.
Yeah. I think he's popular.
Popular.
Well, I mean, like, people relate to him.
Oh yeah. How is that?
I don't know specifics, but I'm just assuming. I mean,
okay. I mean, I don't know that I relate to it. I do. I agree on the cool part.
Yeah.
I don't really know his story, so I don't know if I. Maybe he was also a live stream video vlogger with visa issues. I can really relate to that.
That's the Cambodian Venus de Milo there.
Yeah.
I don't know that Ganesh has to worry about visa issues. I mean, he can go where he wants. Yeah. First of all, he's a deity, and second of all, he's an elephant. Both of those things can go where they want, generally speaking.
Durga. This is the torso of Durga.
Who's Durga?
I does not get that explanation.
That's more than the torso, though. I mean, that's
pre-Angkorian. Oh yeah.
Oh,
right. Pre-Angkorian, yeah. That's all.
There's Russ. Russ, we just saw a thing that a giant stone tablet that Wesley said looked like something from the British Museum. So go back and watch the video later and check it out if we don't go back there.
Well, he's not too late to it, but yeah, there were a couple of things that he's missed if he hasn't been tuning in. Hey, Rice, by the way. But yeah, so it looked like the Rosetta Stone, but it was actually a stone that it was like the Rosetta Stone, but for math. It was the first depiction of the zero concept. I thought that was pretty cool. Now, this has got a long write up, and I am not going to read the whole thing, but if you're interested,
that's the happiest statue we've seen.
Yeah, he's having a good time.
I wonder what he's holding. Like his fingers have been broken off. I wonder what he was holding.
It's kind of ironic that his fingers have been broken off. He's the leper king.
He's the leper king?
His name is Yeah.
Oh.
His name is Yama. This statue, which is usually called Prea Cum Long, that is the leper king, given to the terrace at the top of which it stood to the northeast of the royal palace of Angkor Thom. It was the object of a cult until during the night of March 14th, 1967, an attempt was made to saw its head.
Oh.
Taken to a safe place the following day, it was transferred in October of that year to the museum. Actually, the statue is of Yama, the Hindu god, who is the guardian of hell and the judge of the dead. He is recognizable by his haughty posture, seated with a knee raised, as well as his two fangs. Although belated, an inscription engraved on the front of the base of the statue attests to its identity.
Oh, okay. I've heard it pronounced Yama. So, okay, I've actually
maybe
heard
that's correct.
Oh, Yama, I don't know. Okay. I heard it from like an English translation of an anime, so who knows? But
okay.
Neat.
A beer. What was a beer?
Yeah. I think Russ said he was holding a beer. He might have been.
No.
Yeah, I'm Yama, the guardian of the underworld. What up? Got this beer. Oh. That might be him.
Head
too.
of Brahma.
Oh, that's Brahma.
That's the head of Brahma.
That's a different person.
There's another large piece of stone.
Look at there.
This looks like it was taken from a temple. Hanuman. Oh, Hanuman. Wow.
Is that the Monkey King?
I'm not sure, but he appears in a lot of things around here. His name is on a lot of things. This says Angkorian period.
Very sublime expression.
He's calm. His monkey's got nothing to worry about. Rama.
Don't usually associate calm and serenity with monkeys, though. At least I don't. They're usually.
I mean, the monkeys. Oh yeah, they kind of go crazy, don't they?
They're kind of energetic a lot,
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Maybe that's why he's so unique. He's the calm monkey. Valin and Sugriva.
Oh.
Korean period, Khmer style, first half of the 10th century.
Wow.
Kali. I don't know any details about Kali.
I know Kali was used as in like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, but that movie was not culturally sensitive at all. It was very exciting and action-packed, but it was not culturally sensitive in the least.
Euro, Duryod, Duryodhana. Duryodhana. Okay. Let's go over to the front side. Oops. Hello. Did I hit something?
Oh, I hope not.
No, I'm in a button. I thought I had hit a button.
I thought you meant like a statue. Wow, look at that.
Pretty cool.
Wow.
Freeze.
Boy, something exciting's happening there.
Yeah.
Look at that.
He's got a sword, and he's jumping on the guy who I guess also has a sword. And he looks like he's jumping off the heads of these women or men. I don't know who that is.
I thought they was wrestling. He was coming off the top rope.
That is what's happening. Except it's wrestling with swords. So
Oh, I guess. Well,
it's really just killing someone.
Well,
Guardian with a lion head. Yep.
Well,
this looks like what might have been happening here, but they don't have their arms anymore.
The sword fight. This is a few minutes into the sword fight.
Right.
Your arm's off.
It's Vishnu again.
There are those protective Naga spirits, I think, behind those people.
Now, is that what's being represented when the Naga is back there, the protection?
I believe that's the case, yeah.
Okay.
Could be wrong.
I mean, that's what it looks like. It's the impression I get. It looks kind of like it's a shield well, honestly, it looks like it's shielding them from the sun, which I imagine was a huge, big deal in ancient times to try and get protection from the sun, which would be really intense here.
Or the rain in certain seasons, especially.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah. We haven't quite hit the rainy season here, but I've gotten a taste of just a couple of downpours, and I bet the rainy season is not good, and also probably causes a lot of damage when the flooding happens. Like I said, the Tonle Sap Lake covers most of the country. Here's what's amazing. I mean, obviously we're in the middle of a pandemic, so there's not a lot of tourists, nor should there be. But I'll bet this museum is not overrun even when the tourism picks up. And yet the exhibits here and the stuff we're looking at is every bit as interesting as, say, Egypt or anywhere in India. The Khmer culture is quite old and was a big and powerful culture, and there's just a ton of artifacts. It's really fascinating. But as I pointed out, I think in our first episode here, this Cambodia is really, I don't want to say overlooked because it does have a tourism industry, but it's not at the top of people's lists. And it kind of should be.
Well, I think the stuff that you sent me said the empire was all of Cambodia and parts of Vietnam at its height.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think it went down into Malaysia and covered Laos. Laos is a Khmer influenced culture, and I mean, I don't have the map. I don't think I sent you a map of it, but well, maybe that's something we should do in the future. Since I'm kind of a map person, I can just put some in the.
Well, there was a map. There was going to be a painting or something of a map that you just passed. Perhaps that.
Just passed. Oh, you're right. Oh yeah. Boy, I just overlooked that because I'm focused on getting the statues. Yeah,
that may be some information there.
All right, so the purple there up at the top, I'm assuming you can't read the words because I can't see them on my screen, but
it says Dai Viet, which is Vietnam.
Dai Viet. That's right. That's ancient Vietnam, based in Hanoi. Not again. I do not want to venture into the realm of the political here, but if anyone tells you there's no difference between North and South Vietnam, that would be incorrect. Northern Vietnam is the traditional center of Vietnamese culture, and the southern part, what we now call southern Vietnam, was called Champa. It was an empire of the Cham people who are still around but don't have their own country. they're just part of, they're one of the ethnicities of Vietnam today. So at some point in history, the Vietnamese Empire moved south and took over Champa. Okay, so that was ancient times, but you see the extent of the Khmer Empire. Um, the what do you call it? Legend is in French, but I think the core of the empire is here. This is roughly modern Cambodia. Honestly, it's got where Phnom Penh is, which I don't think was there in very ancient times, and the Tonle Sap Lake is here. So this is roughly modern Cambodia. Vietnam today would have this as well. And then you see where their influence and where their spread was. Well, actually, no, it's just the full extent of the empire.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the core, and then they spread out and took all the way up here, which would be. Actually, let me back up a little bit. So this would be Laos, and a lot of, this would be Thailand, part of it, and moving down. So I'm gonna say they probably went about to the border of modern Malaysia. And they didn't have all of Thailand, but a large portion of it. I think modern Thailand's border is about right here. If it's that river or it's slightly west of that. Are you seeing what I'm pointing on the screen?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah. So that's a big empire. They don't have dates on it though, unfortunately.
It looks like at some point they took over the Champa area too. It's this what I'm looking at now says the 1230. I'm sorry, 1203 Common Era after the conquest of Champa, and this map just basically shows it being part of the Khmer Empire. So,
yeah,
and like any empire, of course, its borders ebb and flow over centuries.
Absolutely, yeah, sure. Yeah, I would love, because I've been to the town that was the ancient seat of the Champa Empire. That's where I stayed for about 2 weeks when I thought China was about to open up, and I was just waiting, late at a hotel on a vacation in a beach, or at a beach, waiting for the border to open. That was the town where it was the ancient seat of the Champa Empire. I didn't pick it because of that. I just got there and started reading the history of the place, and I was like, "Holy crumb! Holy crumb!" So that was pretty cool. I'd love to go back there and see all the sites related to that.
Wow, look at the architecture on that. That was great. That roof, everything.
Yeah, they did a good job. And we were talking about how this was not an actual ancient temple. It was just modeled after it, but I think they did a pretty good job. I mean, to make it into, the French, of course, they're gonna architecture and urban planning. That's them. That's their shtick. The incurably urban French, I've heard them called. That's pretty cool. Let's see where that was
Look
from.
at that.
I should actually mention a particular architect who did this. He deserves credit for it, not just French in general. Bas relief depicting Buddha and worshippers.
Yes, this is the National Museum, Russ.
Oh yeah, he came in late. We probably should do some repeating. We're at the National
Museum. That's maybe it's just good for anybody who might be just scrubbing through the video later too. This is the National Museum of Cambodia, and right now Wesley is looking at a lot of statues and sculptures and tablets.
Yeah, these particular ones came from Bayonne, Bayon. Hope I'm saying it correctly. I'm saying Bayonne, which is one of the big temples and one of the more well-preserved temples at Siem Reap. Well, I usually say at Angkor Wat, but I'm a little unsure of whether that term applies to all of the temples in the area. Hopefully we'll get to go there one day, but just to give you a preview. Angkor Wat is a pretty large temple complex, but it's in the midst of today it's in the middle of the jungle, but it's in the midst of a ton of other very well preserved um, temples. And if you go there and take a day tour, and it becomes obvious that you are not even in a full day going to see every temple. And it's not because they're far distant from each other. There's just a huge number of them. I should say some are more distant. You can take tours farther out, but that's just like a center of one of the eras of, I'm guessing the major era of Khmer power in the area. So there's just a ton of temples.
Isn't Machu Picchu kind of that way too?
No, Machu Picchu is pretty isolated um, up in the mountains. It's one complex.
Oh, okay. Okay. So one complex. Okay.
Yeah, Machu Picchu stands alone. It kind of does. It's one thing they built it on the peak. When I say peak, they built it pretty high up on one of the slopes,
Mm-hmm.
and so you really couldn't have a lot like that. You had to put one on each mountain, but it's there's the question of what it actually was anyway. It was probably a temple complex slash summer home for the Inca. The Inca being the king, not the people.
Those statues didn't look very happy.
No, he looks angry, right?
Yeah.
See what? Let's see if the card tells what he's angry about. Bust of giant. Asura. Causeway of the Prasat Preya Khan for Siem Reap. Okay. Oh, this is his Bayonne style. I hope I wasn't misreading the others. So it doesn't say it was found at Bayonne. It says it was it's in the Bayonne style, but found at Angkor.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, okay. So Angkor. Okay, here's what I think I've been getting wrong. Angkor is the name of the ancient city, the area. Angkor Wat is the temple itself. As we've said, Wat is a temple. So when someone says Angkor Wat, they're talking about the one temple complex at the center of all these. But if someone says Angkor, it could refer to the city and the area, or the period of the Khmer Empire when all this was being built. Devara Pala. Oh, there shows a detailed Naga.
Wow.
A lot of detail on that one. I don't know if you can see this, but he's got a hand in front of him, and it looks like it's going, like that.
Russ says, was this empire Buddhist from the start, or did it come in later?
That came in later. They started out as Hindu. Most of these temples, especially the ones we're talking about in Angkor, are started out as Hindu temples and became Buddhist later. We got a school group. We're going to try and slide past them because their tour guide is telling them stuff. And I think that's just going to make noise for you guys.
Yeah, Buddha was began his life as a. We lost Wesley. Maybe he'll get him back in a minute. Buddha was a Hindu. Beginning of his life, in much the same way that Jesus was Jewish, until Buddha reached enlightenment. And but there's Wesley. He's back.
Yeah, I got an overheating message. If I get another one, I'm gonna take it out of the gimbal.
Okay.
I'm not sure why we're getting it at this point, since we've definitely done longer streams than this, but that's pretty cool.
Wow.
But if we do, I'll try to fix it, and if not, we've gotten a pretty good bit of the museum here. just since we've had some problems before, I think you now have the ability to end the stream should I be irrevocably booted.
I did see that. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I would have done it immediately, but I didn't realize that you didn't have it before. I kind of thought you did.
Tiny cannons.
Tiny. Well, they are tiny cannons, but if you amass enough of these, you would do some damage. They're not pistols.
No, they're
They're cannons.
they're cannons.
This is the cabin of a boat.
Yeah, those are like the sort of cannons that you would mount kind of at the you know how we normally think of cannons on ships as being on the decks and pointed off to the sides, right? The big cannons, but those look like the sort of cannons they would mount at maybe the front and the rear of those larger vessels. Russ, chime in here and tell me if I'm just making crap up, and obviously the cannons didn't start out with those huge things that we think of on this, Spanish galleons and such. So,
right, yeah.
What? When did they have cannons in their society?
Well, good question. Let's migrate back over there and see if we can. Oh, there is. Okay. So let's see. This is what they're calling it, a blunderbuss. Okay. Oh,
okay. Blunderbuss is a different thing, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Russ says I'm right.
Middle period.
Thank you, Russ.
Let's go down.
Blunderbuss was generally a man portable weapon. If you think of when you think of like a stereotypical like pilgrim in America out hunting a turkey for Thanksgiving, and it's got a rifle, he's got a rifle with like the big trumpet looking barrel. That is a blunderbuss, a type of blunderbuss.
Right. Yep. It just says middle period for all of them.
Okay.
That doesn't give us a date.
Blunderbusses, I think, generally they're kind of like shotguns in that they just wanted to put a lot of shot out rather than firing a solid projectile like a musket ball or a cannonball or a bullet. Again, okay. Russ, if I'm wrong, tell me. Oh, go ahead, Russ. Anytime.
I mean, that's jives with what I know about a blunderbuss. A lot of junk was put into the barrel and then explosion, and it just comes out. And kind of early shrapnel, like a shrapnel gun. Is that right?
You could do that with cannon too.
Yeah, sure.
And sometimes it was just junk. Sometimes they actually put a bunch of purpose-made shot in it. It was called grape shot. But I mean,
so a blunder, that's what was used to fire grape shot. Right?
But you could use like regular cannons can be loaded with grape shot rather than cannonballs. A lot of times, if you ran out of cannonballs in some of the big naval battles we think of, I mean, people would just put nails and forks and knives and stuff just scrap into the blunderbuss because those weren't going to really punch holes in the sides, the holes of the ship like a cannonball would, but they would shred sails and people.
Right.
So
yeah, right.
Larger ones were used on ship to clear the decks. So.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Russ and I are talking
right. That's what I was thinking. Would force the sailors to take cover. Big Naga.
Wow. Look at that.
Who's this guy? Oh, he's an elephant. He just does not have his trunk anymore.
Oh.
Gaha Simta.
He's traveling light. Yeah. He didn't have a trunk.
So there's your another, I don't know if he's a deity, but elephant character, but he's not humanoid.
Oh, okay.
Humanoid is probably a Star Trek term, so I'm not sure it was appropriate, but you know what I mean.
No, humanoid is a word. It's the shape of a human.
Yeah. I guess I'm just thinking it's not a commonly used or understood word except by me, you, and Ross and Eric,
Oh,
and Star Trek fans. But it is a real word. Yeah, you're right. Okay, I mean, I guess I'm less fascinated by the pottery, but it is pretty. Some shiny. It's covered in some shiny stuff. I guess that they're it's like a mosaic on the outside of the pottery.
mm-hmm.
Small little glass-like pieces.
Oh, so it's
And
glass.
I don't know if it's glass, but it's like it's a shiny little tiny bits,
Hmm.
small shapes. But it could be something else causing that, but it looks glassy. And these are looms. Oh, this is
Wow.
so they did a Guinness Book of World Records here. It's a strange thing to have in the National Museum, kind of, but well, if this is the longest hand woven scarf, I guess ever. As you can see, I guess
Uh,
that's the scarf.
yeah, it looks a little thick to be a scarf, though. I mean,
Thick?
well, look how wide it is.
Oh yeah, but you fold it over.
You're not
I mean,
folding that thing over. That thing's like a mile long.
okay, fair enough.
Don't try to trick
It is
me,
it is pretty
Cambodia.
useless as a scarf.
Cambodia Guinness Book of World Record seekers.
It
Don't try to trick
it
me.
simultaneously gets the world record as the world's most useless scarf.
I mean, even Doctor Who couldn't wear that scarf.
The Tom Baker dog.
None of them. None of them.
None. Okay, fair enough. None of them can pull it off.
I mean, not
Right.
fashion wise. Like fashion wise, I'm sure some of them could. Like the most recent one, she could probably pull it
Oh, I
off.
was
She
going to say
has some.
Tom Baker. Fashion wise, Tom Baker can pull off
Yeah,
any
I can't
scarf.
think. I can't think of that actress's name, but I've seen. I don't watch a lot of Doctor Who, but
Mhm.
the outfits I've seen her in the commercials and stuff, she could pull it off.
Okay.
But people would say, "Why is she wearing a scarf? That was a Tom Baker thing."
Yeah, they're right. They would say that.
That don't
Oh
make
well,
no
I don't
sense.
know how Khmer this is, but
Oh.
that is a moon rock. I'm guessing it was found at least in Cambodia. Jodie Whittaker
Jody Wicker,
calling
thank
that
you,
one.
Eric. I thought you were gonna say, okay. It clicked. I was like, Jody Whittaker found that moon rock? That also doesn't sound very Khmer.
I mean, she might have,
Yeah. She was just visiting. She's like, look at a
or
moon
she just
rock.
scammed them. She
Yeah,
just scammed them to sell them a rock.
it's just a piece of coal from her bin.
Well, I know we've had enough of this in the past 2 days, but oh
Oh.
no, I
Well,
showed it because I
okay.
expected there to be an English explanation. Sorry.
Speaking of which, the article I read does talk about what happened to the museum during the Khmer Rouge.
Yeah.
It was closed. Obviously, those people didn't like learn and stuff.
Right.
And
Fair enough. Yeah.
when it was finally reopened, it was overgrown. They said the roof was in very bad disrepair. A flock of bats had taken up residence inside. So
Wow.
Cambodian Bruce Wayne lived there. I don't know. And yeah, it all had to be cleaned up. And they reopened it, cleaned it up, and reopened it very quickly. Apparently in 1980, after the Khmer Rouge fell in 79.
Right.
But they a lot of the people who had worked there before had lost their lives during the atrocities and
Yeah,
such.
sure. I
So
imagine.
so they
Educated
didn't.
people working here.
Yeah, so they didn't have a lot of
Mhm.
staff, experienced staff when they first opened up. So, wow, look at all those.
There's a lot of Buddhists.
Ah,
Every one of these has historical value too. They all have were found at some historic site. See if I can read some of them. Provence unknown. Okay, that wasn't a good example.
Field of Buddhas.
Crusat, Middle Period. Middle Period Angkor. Provence unknown, Middle Period, 19th, some of the 19th, 20th century.
Hmm.
But I imagine most of them were found around the Siem Reap area. That's kind of really cool about going there. Is it is still an archaeological site that where they are pulling out, different different items.
Yeah, at least Russ says at least they were not destroyed. Apparently, a lot of it was there were things that were wrecked and stolen
Right.
during the Khmer Rouge, but obviously not everything. They've still got a lot of exhibits here. So
Right. Yeah. It's kind of
yeah,
amazing.
it
All right.
is.
I'm not
It
going to
is
go in.
amazing.
I'm going to avoid the tour groups because they, have little
Yeah.
loudspeakers. And so let's look at the courtyard. We have one little area left to see before we go inside, but the courtyard is really pretty amazing and beautiful. It's really beautiful.
Wow,
Beautiful.
it's like a luxury hotel.
It kind of does, yeah. To be honest, I feel like this is the kind of place hotels emulate when they make a courtyard or something for the.
I would stay in a hotel that emulated a museum, but I am a huge nerd. So if there was like a hotel that had like a natural history museum hotel, like it was just dinosaur bones and crap in like the lobby and stuff, man, I'd be there.
That would be pretty cool.
Somebody write that down.
Write it down.
That's $1 million idea. I'll be a thousandaire with that.
I kind of feel like there's a lot of hotels that do quirky things, so there's got to be someone somewhere out there.
You come in and the Jurassic Park music's playing in the background, so this has got to be like a Universal Studios hotel now, right?
Right, yeah.
I'm just pitching an idea while we're looking at this beautiful scenery, ladies and gentlemen.
Any investors, give me a call. They have exhibits out here too, mostly statuary, friezes, things like that.
That's very bold.
Bold?
Yeah, you'd think you wouldn't want that stuff out there to, erosion and stuff.
Well, I mean, we're under a roof, and the museum itself, if you didn't realize while we were in there, it's open air. Anything that needs to be protected from the elements is in a case. A lot of it is stone. I mean, stone fares pretty well. Is the detail on this one coming off? The little, I don't know if they're flames or flowers. Because it's wow, minute detail carved into stone.
Maybe it's the fire ritual.
It could be the fire ritual, or these guys did not listen to Smokey the Bear. They're stuck in the middle and they're surrounded by it.
They did not prevent forest fires.
They did not. They no caused one.
Not only did they not prevent it, they caused it.
They're like, it's time for the fire ritual. This didn't turn out to be a good idea.
Oh, Erica says that's a great idea. Thank you.
Burning the forest down? No, Erica.
No. The Dinosaur Museum Hotel.
Oh, okay.
It would do at least as well.
It
would do at least as well as the new Star Wars Star Cruiser hotel that Disney put up. I think.
Is it not doing well? Is that what you're implying?
Oh, well, I'm sure it's booked solid.
They opened it?
I'm sure it's booked solid with people, but I'm just
suckers.
I just no. I mean, I don't want to get I don't want to piss Disney off.
Don't piss Disney off. Here, but, fair enough.
But no. I'm just saying, like, I think you're going to have a lot less overhead just putting in some fiberglass dinosaur skeletons as opposed to making something look like a Star Wars ship. You know?
Well, yeah, that's true.
I guess they're fiberglass. I mean, I hate to break it to everybody, but the skeletons you're seeing in most of the museums are not actual
They're
fossil.
copies of
They're
right,
copies. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys.
Generally speaking, you want to, if you have dinosaur bones, you want to keep them in a special environment so that they don't deteriorate.
Yeah, and putting them out on display is not the way to do that.
Exactly right.
So they make,
especially when they use them
copies.
to build a right. Yeah, they make copies and then they build the dinosaur that you see that's on display. That's
Right.
towering above everything.
Yeah,
that's right.
That sounds like a good way to get your dinosaur fossils broken. So because
then you'll have to order more dinosaur fossils.
Yeah.
And Amazon is not delivering quickly enough.
The fossils, even though they are made of a kind of stone, are very brittle. So is my understanding.
Right. Yeah.
So
it's not like these are stone carvings. The stone it is solid. I don't know, igneous rock or sedimentary or whatever it's called.
It's like if these were marble, you wouldn't want them out. Acid rain would do a number on them, you know.
Yeah, well, that's why I said they're protected directly from the rain, because they do have all the exhibits under an overhang, so they don't get the rain directly on them. But obviously they're exposed to all other kinds of elements, wind or sun and whatnot. But I just feel like stone probably fares well against those, as long as you can keep the rain off of it to keep your dissolution down. I want to walk by this, but they are taking some pictures up there. Here, let's try and zip by.
I also had a joke about that, Charlie Baker, but I cannot tell you what the joke is because this is a family program.
What was the comment?
Erica and Russ were talking about how much the Star Wars hotel costs, and it's a lot. It's several $1,000s. I think for a weekend it's like $6,000 or so, or something
per person.
I think it's for, I don't know, I couldn't say, but it's a lot. It's a lot. And Charlie,
it actually doesn't matter. 6,000 for a whole family is still a lot.
Yeah.
For a weekend.
Charlie said it better be, real Death Star or something, and with built-in explosions. I've got a joke, but I can't.
Oh, you don't want to tell a spicy joke on the stream?
Oh, it's filthy, so no.
Wow. Well, now I really want to hear it. Tune in for the after show, I say to people.
I think the problem people had is its amenities or lack thereof, and the price. They chose a Disney vacation, so they should be prepared for the cost. Well, I think some of it too is the initial videos and stuff were not flattering, but oh my gosh, I'm talking about Star Wars, and we're in the middle of a national museum in Southeast Asia. Great.
Well, we've almost reached the end of the museum. I'm hoping the overheating doesn't, cause us to cut out again, because but the reason I'm saying that is because outside, to see some of the architecture of the building is worth looking at. Wow, student groups. Okay, we're not going to be avoiding student groups. We're just going to have to charge through the middle.
Wow, yeah, you were just saying, I bet nobody comes here too earlier.
I guess I was thinking about tourists. They're not worried about tourists. I got kids aplenty. Whoa. Do you see why I said that? Actually, it's not the group that's ahead of us. It's that.
Oh,
they're lined up, waiting to get in.
Wow, you got here at a good time, man! Right in front of all the groups.
Yeah, get there when they open. That is tourist tip number 1. I am telling you, get there when they open. Okay, I'm not. If you see anything in these cases that you feel, I just saw someone myself. Look at this.
Oh wow.
Sorry. So this is this is the figure It says figure of the boat prow. I think it's on the bow of the boat, or maybe is it called the prow of the boat? And Korean Syrian
Yes.
down style. Okay, from Angkor. But Angkor is close to Tonle Sap Lake, which I was telling you turns into a really big, huge, almost looks like an inland sea during the rainy season. So I bet they have a lot of, like maybe even kind of a navy on it. No other nation.
My goodness.
That's a cool looking thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet this is the dude that started the place. The French dude you were talking about. Oh, no, he looks Khmer.
He's got a bunch of
Maybe
medals
he's-
though.
Yep.
He could be of a bit mixed heritage. What was his name? Did it say?
It doesn't have any kind of a
Oh,
identifier on him.
Hmm.
Unfortunately. All right, we're repeating again. I just wanted to go down this. I feel like we rushed through it the first time, and I missed something. Cool Buddhas. Okay. All right. Go ahead. Sorry. There's the feet.
My
All right.
goodness. Oh yeah, this
wanna
is where we came in. Okay.
Yep. We can head out now and see a little bit of the outside of the building.
There's a cow.
Mhm. Okay.
Oh, I wonder what kind of being that represents there.
The photo op being god of photo ops.
The angel of photo ops.
As soon as she takes the picture, we got to get more people in the picture.
Oh my goodness. You're not getting up there. That's I don't mean any disrespect by this. The face looks kind of like a gummy bear.
I assume you're talking about the statue. Okay. No problem.
Yeah, not even those people. Those people just
Children are adorable.
Yes.
Garuda.
Oh, okay. I've heard of Garuda.
Yeah.
I don't remember much about Garuda, but I have heard of Garuda.
Well, it doesn't give a history, just that it was found at Prasatom.
I believe the Garuda are a type.
Is it a character or a category of being
It says a Hindu god and divine creature.
and divine creature? Okay.
Hindu, Buddhist, and Jain. King of the birds and a kite-like figure. And a god of strength and courage. Oh, wow.
Cool.
Well, that's
So it's somebody to get your picture taken in front of.
absolutely.
All right, let's move on. Let's see. Let's try and wander into places we're not supposed to be.
He is the mount, sometimes the mount of the Hindu god Vishnu, half brother of the Devas,
Okay.
and other beings.
Yeah.
He's the younger brother of Aruna, the charioteer of the sun.
Mhm.
He is more powerful than his half brothers.
Who are they?
I'm not sure. Oh, he's the half brother of Devas. Devas, Daityas, the Navas, Yakshas. I'm sorry, folks, if I'm
We'll just
mess those
assume
up.
that we're not giving pronunciation lessons here.
Generally a protector with the power to swiftly go anywhere and ever watchful and an enemy of the serpents.
Yep.
So he doesn't like
Take that,
snakes.
serpent. Well, I imagine you wouldn't. Religion based in India would probably revere them in some way. I mean, actually, the Nagas is serpentine, so it's not like they hate all snakes.
Right.
But enemy of the serpents. Well, that makes sense too if he's a bird creature and like.
The Wikipedia article that I'm looking at actually has a picture of the statue you're just saying.
There's one on each end of the museum. It's kind of a cool thing.
Huh.
I don't know if they're identical or meant to complement each other.
Yeah, here's a piece of art that shows him vanquishing the Naga clan. So he didn't much like the Nagas. I guess they didn't much like him.
Well, you actually weren't you talking about that when we were at the other Wat Lanka? The bird creatures and the or deities and the Naga were at odds in some way.
Yeah, they didn't like each other. Yeah, and again, that's probably just the parallel with nature. You know, I mean the
right,
the hawks and the
makes sense
and stuff will eat the snake sometimes. So yeah,
right, yeah, that's not going to be a good view. I just think this building is pretty impressive, and I would like to get around it. And I'm also a big fan of not walking through large crowds of people at the moment. Kind of crowded too much.
Yeah, that's a lot of kids. Wow.
Yeah, it's a big student group, and that's just one group. I think when we first walked into that hall when I was heading on the way out, and I said, "Oh, let's go to the courtyard instead." That was a different group than the one we just saw in there, and then you got this group here. A lot of school groups, which makes sense.
That's good though. I mean, get these kids in here, learn their history. Well, and again, we don't think anything about that sort of thing in normal times, but look at the kind of stuff we saw the last couple of nights where this sort of thing was erased.
Right.
You know,
for the past 40 years, this country has been trying to rebuild itself, and part of that is like teaching their culture to the next generation and their history to the next generation. And that's easier said than done.
It sure is. I mean, Russ says concurs that Garuda is the king of the birds.
No, okay. I thought he was going to concur that teaching children is not easy.
I'm sure he can concur with that, and also I can speak for him when I say he thinks that teaching history is important.
Yeah, so important. We need so much more of that. If ever I criticize and say we're bad at it, what I'm saying is we need more of people like Russ.
Well, and we need more of it, and it can always be made more effective, I think.
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely.
Through various means, but yeah, it's I won't say that. I was going to say something political, but I'm not going to.
I mean, I think you're killing the point of not saying it by declaring that you're going to say it. You can go ahead and say it if you want. No, I refuse. Well, this one is a little run down. Yeah, his tusk is broken. He needs some work done.
He's returning to nature just more swiftly than a lot of other things.
That he is.
Try to feed him a banana. Like that lady that zoo tried to get you to buy a banana for the flipping elephants. Yeah. Elephants love bananas. That's what I know about them.
Construction work going on this side of the museum.
Hey.
I mean, it looks like they're at the point of just clearing some space off so that they can do whatever. And maybe, I mean, this looks like it was originally designed to be open on this side. I do feel like there's a lot to this building that is not being used because they're probably still in the process of, I don't want to say repairing, but, just expanding. Without large amounts of money to renovate a building, it goes very slowly.
Well, I wonder, too, if they just have a lot of space because a lot of their stuff was lost during the Khmer Rouge, too. I mean,
well, that's a good question. I I don't really
I
know
don't
the
know.
answer.
Is that
This
an
is
offering?
yeah, this is an offering. This is an actual shrine to one of the. I'm pretty sure we saw this guy in there.
Oh, yeah.
It's just. Yeah, so this is an
I
actual
wonder
one.
if it's a bovine deity or if it's just bovines in general. I
I'm betting there's a deity associated with it.
I know that the reason that that Hindus don't use cattle as livestock for food
Hmm.
is because they consider bovines to be higher on the spirituality because they're
Right.
so placid
Hmm. Yeah.
by nature
None of,
that they're
yeah.
just
Yes.
they're serene. So they're like,
Uh-huh.
oh well, they got it figured out.
I've got to figure it out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think you're right. I mean, that makes sense. Actually, I like that. That's a quality to respect is placidity and calm, and yeah, that's a good thing. That's, that's something we could learn something about.
Okay,
God, I
Charlie, who is Kamadine? Who he
come on,
knew?
come on,
Kamad
continue.
he knew.
Like we're both trying it
Wow.
and obviously failing over and over.
I just want Charlie to put in just like a random word here and just tell us, yeah, it could be this deity. We're trying to sit here and figure out who it is, and she just
She
made it
just falls
up.
onto her keyboard.
Yeah, she just sneezed and it. Just, oh
Known as the
no!
wishing cow. Oh, so he grants
Oh,
wishes, or he has a lot of them to make.
well, he doesn't have to wish for free food and drink. People bring it
No,
to him.
well maybe he did, and that's why it showed up.
Oh, that's it. That's it. He used one of his wishes for that.
One of his wishes. This
He's
is
like,
not
I'll
a
just.
special cow. He just found a lamp.
He found a genie.
He just found a genie. That was
And he's like, "What are you doing here? I thought you guys were like Arabian.
like that. You found a lamp. I mean,
You found a lamp and a moon
right.
rock. I guess. I mean, one of these things came farther than the other. Jodie Whittaker found a Cambodian moon rock. Write it down. That's our fan fiction. Our
That's our
Doctor Who
fan
fan
fiction for the day.
Yeah, Jodie Whittaker
God,
found
I feel like we should wrap up the episode and keep getting on an after show. What do you think?
All right, let's do that.
Let's do that. All right. Well, before we wrap up the show, I want to tell the people in the future because I feel like our live viewers are going to stay tuned. Um, Originally from the Sudanese people. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Oh.
I want to thank everyone for tuning in, and then I want to ask them to like and subscribe to the video if you. As I always say, I don't like asking at the very beginning of the video to like and subscribe because you just started watching. But if you made it this far, I feel like and subscribe is valid. Check out our Patreon at the top of the YouTube channel. Yeah.
If you like what you're seeing, yeah, like and subscribe and consider supporting our Patreon and
share it with friends.
Share all those things with friends.
I'll be messaging after this. Oh, messaging us? Or you got a new job messaging?
I don't know.
Erica, you're going to have to explain that in the after show. Because our last thing to say is tune in for the next video.
Oh, I was going to say bon voyage. I don't know.
That works too. Bon voyage, guys.
Bon voyage, everybody. Jag är där och de kommer då se upp som personer som